Is your career stuck or are you just playing it safe? Today's episode is going to be the brutal truth nobody tells you. So let's have an honest conversation. Have you ever looked at your life, your business, your actual job and thought, why does this feel like the way it feels? Like you're not that excited, you're doing all the right things, you've got the qualifications, you're busy doing community projects, you are constantly being seen as the person that everybody knows can get the job done. Today I'm going to show you exactly where your comfort zone is disguised as success. But not just the success, more importantly, how you break out of it before it breaks you. I am the Millennial Coach, you're locked into the core, and I'm basically going to be talking about how to get unstuck with your current stuckness. So I want to thank you for joining, subscribing, and also sharing this conversation and others like it with your friends, family, and also those colleagues you know that need that little prod that you can't do, but you know I'll do it for you. So the core is all things leadership. So whether you're leading in your life, in your career, wherever that may be. And so I want you to join today's conversation, how to get unstuck and the brutal truth many people don't talk about. Yalla, let's go. Yenko.
Hey everyone, this is Hill Street Soul. And you're tuned in to the core with the Millennial Coach, discussing topics on real life. Check it out. Everywhere you go, don't forget the ghetto. Listen to the core. Don't forget the ghetto. With the Millennial Coach. Don't forget the ghetto. 'Cause it's the best show.
So if you think about it, what does stuck actually look like? Being stuck, it doesn't always look like the obvious. Most people think when you're stuck, you're probably going around the circle, talking about the same thing, but that may not be it. You may be stuck in a routine of behavior. And behaviors become habits, but don't forget your actions are formed by your thought forms. So whatever you're thinking, maybe you don't realize that it's actually creating a level of stuckness you didn't see coming. If you think about it, you might be a contractor or, and you move from project to project. More or less the same thing, it's just a different email. Thought about that? Sometimes most of us are seen as we're good. Oh, that person's really good. But how many of you have been told you're absolutely exceptional? Or better still, how many of you have told yourself that you are exceptional? Think about that. But the other thing that I want to talk about is, what if you were to ask yourself as it stands today, in your current life role, whatever that may be, what is it that you're tolerating? Because I know, hand on heart, there are things I also need to make some changes to. Nobody is exempt from being stuck, but the thing that you need is the awareness to actually help you become unstuck and start the journey to what you actually want that may look different to what it stands today. But playing it safe has been sold to you as progress. And this is the thing, everyone says, when I meet younger people now, I've worked in the world of apprenticeships and leadership and training for so many years now, right? And I meet people and they'll say to me, I'm going to uni. I'm like, why waste money? Why don't you go and do a degree apprenticeship and move on to a master's apprenticeship, and potentially you can move on to other postgraduates and get funded, fully funded qualifications in the UK without having to sweat, lose time, and actually you're building equity within yourself at the same time. So imagine getting a degree, you're being paid a salary that is actually normally above average, because most of the qualifications that I actually have worked in, they're not just the general 18,000 Some people are on probably more money than I was at their age. So what I'm saying is, what we've been sold, the conventional way of life, it doesn't exist anymore. You have different ways to study. You have different ways to show up. But most of the time, we follow the patterns of the people that are closest to us. No one's disputing that some patterns are not to be followed. No one's disputing. If you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a vet, a fire woman or man. These are, I would say, vocations that you would need to be aware of things like health and safety in all areas. That health and safety is not exempt whether you're a fireman or you're a surgeon, right? You need those qualifications because you need to really validate why you are saving the life of another human being in whatever capacity that comes in. So that's not what I'm distinguishing here. What I'm distinguishing is why playing it safe. This has been sold to us to get things done in a certain order. It may have worked from the 80s up into 2000. Post 2000 and post the internet era, we have to be more savvy, irrespective of age. You've got to start thinking to yourself, what do I need to do differently in order to have that self-fulfillment? So one of the things that I do want to highlight, the world rewards, consistency, right? But comfort is not the same as growth. A lot of people think just because I'm consistent and I'm doing the same thing, like somebody said to me the other day, right, which I thought was ironic. And I find this always ironic when someone says, yeah, I'm an avid cyclist and they're obese. There's no consistency, because if you are going to be someone who's going to take on, I would say, a health goal, cycling is not a goal that you just do because it's something. You actually need to build your strength, stamina, and that is going to be through food, that's going to be through training, that's going to be through a range of healthy options. But the thing is, you're in your comfort zone. You're just cycling because you can go from here to the end of the road. If you're a true cyclist, your consistency is not just going to be comfortable, it's going to be uncomfortable. So, if you're one of those people, right, and you know why you stay stuck, what I'm saying to you is no surprise, but what it is a reawakening. That's what today is, a reawakening to your spirit and to your soul about what you need to do. You know why people get stuck? Fear of disrupting the familiar. So somebody said to me once, I don't know, about 8 years ago, she said to me, you know, you're a positive disruptor. And I'm like, yeah, in the Western world, I won't be seen as positive. And the reason I like the internet and I dislike the internet, and I'm talking about social media. I like social media because it's giving people access to new information, language, etc. I don't like it because people think twerking or taking videos of people having negative interactions is positive. That isn't what, for me, social media is for in terms of exposing negative information. So what happens is people stay stuck because they allow information that doesn't serve them to get into their spirit. And what do I mean by that? We get attached to things that are unproductive in order to make ourselves feel like we're being busy. Scrolling is not being busy. Scrolling is time wasting. But the thing is, it's become comfort to so many of you. And it's a comfort zone where you feel like it's adding value to your life. If I can see 6 minutes has gone past on my clock and I've been online, I think, okay, I need to dedicate double the time to something that's going to add value to me. That may be a meditation. That may be checking on an email that I need to respond to. That may be looking at other businesses that I'm working on and things that I need to focus on. What do I need to change about myself today? How do I need to go the extra mile? The other thing that makes people stuck is fear of failure. Now, that's something that I struggled with for such a long time. But fear of failure was seen as, oh, I don't have enough money to do the project. Listen, In some cases, not all cases, you will find the money to do whatever it is you need to do to build your product or your service. In some cases, it's out of reach temporarily. But the thing is, create a plan and then build towards creating that successful streak in your life. Fear of disappointing family is a huge one. But one of the things why people stay stuck, because you are relying on your family to validate your internal intrinsic values. That is where we're going wrong. The value of you approaching something should be something you dedicate yourself to in order to grow for yourself, not for somebody else. So many people, and I'm not disputing people who have children that say, I'm doing it for my children. I understand when people say that. But some people, and I've seen it with some people, they use their children as an excuse why they're doing something they hate. And I'll tell you something, if you sat down with your children today and said, right, I really want to go for my dream, how would you feel about me spending a little bit less time with you? Or, would you spend time with at your uncle's house, grandparents' house, whatever? And the thing is, a lot of people are single parents. So I'm really, really aware of that can be hard. But if you have a small tribe, you can ask for help. Think about if you were to pursue something that you've always had your heart set on, imagine how that can transform your life. Fear of disappointing family shouldn't be bigger than fear of disappointing yourself. Fear of admitting that you want more. A lot of people say money is the root to all evil. Now, let me correct you on that. People who have evil thoughts are the root to all evil. And if they want to use money to become evil, that is a human behavior. Money doesn't have brains, money doesn't have legs, and money doesn't have a mouth. So when people say money is the root to all evil, in what context? It is not. It's the handler of money that is the root, that could be the root to some evil. We need to contextualize when we say things, and we also need to decide, does that particular affirmation, because it's an affirmation essentially, does that have space in your life? You don't have to believe everything you hear regardless. If the caregivers of your life have been saying it, doesn't mean it to be true. The one thing that I would definitely say is when we're actually looking at becoming unstuck, we also have to unlearn the language that we have been taught that has been a safe house for us. For some people, the things that your family has told you, it's been some people love you out of fear. They don't love you out of love. Because if you are being raised by parents who are on survival mode, do not think when they don't encourage you, they're doing it because, they're doing it because they love me. Yes, that could be what they tell you. But if you get to the root of why even sometimes our parents are stuck, it's out of fear. It's not out of anything else. Sometimes you may be in this country illegally and you're just trying to get yourself legal. Everyone's trying to have a better life. I will always celebrate that. But sometimes you might have to go the extra mile. People who have come to the UK, may have come to the US, haven't got papers, done everything legit and have got their stay. Don't just play it safe. You've done the hard bit. Now the easy bit is to live your dream. And those of you that are born in the Western world, those of you born out here, and you just don't take advantage of the opportunities, it is a crying and dying shame. It's a crying and dying shame. You don't have a reason not to be educated. Literally, you don't. We have access to education on so many levels. When people don't read, you miss out on a range of information. When people don't talk or network, you further miss out on expanding your reach. The brutal truth about staying stuck is success without fulfillment is the slowest form of failure. So one of the things that I strongly believe, the work that I do and impart on people who I really enjoy working with allows me to expand because I want to learn more. How do I break through this area in coaching? How do I maximize this way of communicating or connecting with people? Then I do research behind it. I'll read articles. I would probably buy a book. I would do a small workshop online. These are things that help me gravitate towards my mastery. But if you are unfulfilled, it will actually eat away at your success rate because you are not pushing yourself because you are in your comfort zone. So I'm going to tell you 3 signs of why you're playing it safe. 3 signs. And these 3 signs, I really hope that one of them hits you where it hurts. You've stopped learning. You know, when I stopped learning, there was a time I just couldn't read anything. And I'm still struggling to get back into books. I've actually reverted to audiobooks. So if I'm in the gym for 2 hours, people are like, why 2 hours? So I want to give a shout out to Rich. So I took somebody, he's a lawyer, to the gym. And he said 2 hours. When we finished the workout, he realized we didn't do 50 different workouts. We did about 7 or 8 workouts. 4 sets of 20, shout out to Shelley. 4 sets of 20, he was dying. And I don't talk when I gym. So having to train someone and talk them through what we're gonna overhead press and talk him through that. That for me was extra work because when you're doing things and he's learning, I have to also be patient as a coach. Although, yes, I coach professionally in terms of the business experience, I have no problem training people, right? And if I say to you that I'm closer to 50 than I am 40, and I look the way I look, it's because I take care of myself and I learn about new ways of taking care of my body, right? So learning is one of your reasons that you've been playing it safe. You stopped. You think you've got to a point and then you should just keep going. You're never going to activate and accelerate the inner genius within you. The fact that you would know exactly what you're doing in 12 months is the second point that is causing you to play it safe. You know, I need to, this month is this person's birthday, and you always live your life according to somebody else's timescale. When it's your birthday, if I'm in the country, I'm here. If I'm not in the country, I'm sorry, happy birthday. My schedule cannot allow me to grow if I am following your timeline. If you follow someone else's timeline, then you're not living the life that you were born to live. The third thing is asking for permission to move. There are so many opportunities I've wanted to take previously when I've tried to partner with people, it's been unsuccessful. I've done some things, and after a while, you get a bit frustrated of the lack of success or failure, but at least I tried. At least I put the effort in. My point is, if you are playing it safe, you are waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay. I now think, okay, I have the capacity to do this, have the capacity to do that. You have to build capacity in order to fulfill your dreams. So there are projects that I've birthed and I've started and stopped and started and stopped. Now I'm like, I feel 100% confident I can pursue it. And there may be some times I get frustrated, but it's time to pursue it. I was up to 2 o'clock this morning pursuing one of my dreams. And then I'll go back today to do another 2 hours because I was out last night. So it's really important. If you know you're playing it safe, that means you're not tired enough. That means that you haven't met any new people in the last 12 months. That means that there's no new information you are elevating in your life to be a better version of yourself. So if that is you, don't panic, but do make a decision. Decide whether the comfort zone is where you want to stay and how much value it brings you. Because I can tell you something, If your comfort zone brings you no value, you're going to regret it later. I'll give you one story before we move on. There was a man, I was at a boat party, hated every minute of it. I couldn't wait for the boat to dock because I was just the people, the crowd. I said to my friend, never invite me to a place with people like this, not my vibe. But there was a man getting aggressive because on boats now in the UK, what they do, if you're buying a bottle of wine or champagne, they actually transfer the liquid into a hard plastic decanter. And when they put it in a decanter, it's because it's obviously less dangerous than a bottle smashing on the boat. And this guy started kicking off. It's £65 for a bottle of champagne. And you're putting it in a cheap plastic, just getting all emotional over, in my opinion, absolute nonsense. It's health and safety. It's not about you, it's about everybody else. First of all, lack self-awareness. The second thing is I went up to him and I said to him, I rubbed his back and I said to him, as a black woman, when you're around black people, I want to say this, culturally, when we comfort each other, even when someone's angry, a lot of the time we can get through to each other. And when I was rubbing his back, I said to him, do you think this is the right moment to be having this kind of disagreement? And how petty is it? It's only a bottle, you're still getting the same product. And then he actually calmed down. He said, I really appreciate that. And later on, when I was upstairs at, just watching the views of London, he came up to me because he said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a coach. And then later on he came up to me and he said, because you really made me think differently about, how to respond. And I was like, interesting, okay. But what he said really struck me. He said, I'm 65 years old and all I've known my whole life, he was Jamaican, is going to parties, raving, not putting money away and spending money on things that are not relevant. And he said to me, my son's with me, it's my birthday, and he's been telling me what you're telling me for years. I said to him, it's not too late to change your spending habits, but you have to decide. He said to me, I've wasted my life. And you know what makes me sad? Is when people realize they've wasted their life, some people just feel that it's too hard to change now. It's up to you. Like, if you've ever seen training or workout with Joan, or training with Joan, she's in her 70s. She started bodybuilding at 70. She's probably about 76 now. Her body's on point. She was a granny, granny bod, not taking care of herself. Come and see Joan, do pull-ups. Me, I can't even pull myself up. I can do a lat down pull, but to pull myself up, that's one of my areas of development. So when you see Training with Joan on Instagram, it's inspiring because she never gave up because of her age. So let me show you how to break the cycle. The first one is micro risks. When I'm working with clients, they hit a wall and they think I can't do certain things. So take one professional risk this month. If it means just setting up your social media or even purchasing your company, do that this week. Next week, plan how much you need to spend in order to get the rest set up and when you're going to put that in place. Having dates and times and deadlines will actually help you accelerate how you put professional risks in place. What I will say, and I'm saying a professional risk, do not resign from your job. That's not what I'm talking about. That income, you need that to sustain you. Don't be irresponsible. I've had people say, yeah, don't worry, just use your savings, you'll be fine. Listen, I'm telling you as a coach, do not quit your job. Do not go and waste your money. If you've saved money, it's always going to be useful for a rainy day. If you've got money saved, invest it into something that's going to give you a high yield return. Don't spend it where there's no return. Do not burn your bridge or your lifelines. Just something that puts your skills in a bigger room. That's all you need to do. So it may be, do you need to learn how to communicate more effectively? Do you need to project your voice? Do you need to show up in terms of Some people I look at and they just are miserable. How do you need to show up when you walk into a room? Hi, how are you? Good morning. Is it something you need to work on? The second thing I want to talk about is the what if I'm right exercise. So, write out the best possible outcomes you can have where you are pursuing your goal. Only the best outcomes. Don't focus on what could possibly go wrong. Let's try something new. Let's focus on what could possibly go right. Now, I don't know if you heard it in one of my last episodes, coming to the studio at one point during rush hour was a nightmare. 2 hours to come and do this for you guys. Now, I changed time and I changed the day. It's taken me half the time. So you have to think of new strategies to do the same thing. Remember, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Which way is going to be most efficient and effective for you? Writing out your next best outcome is going to help you look at your project in a different sphere. You're already living in the what if I fail zone. So imagine what will happen in your life if you were to flip the script. So we've just spoken about breaking cycles. It's a choice. Everything, how you dress, how you communicate, what you choose to see in the world, whether you see people as good people or you see people as suspicious, that will set up the next chapter that you're about to enter when you're reading the book of your life. So if you've taken nothing else from this, I'm asking you to remember one thing. Comfort zones are beautiful places, right? Those of you that like having a lie-in every weekend, that's me. They're beautiful places, but nothing grows there. So what I want you to do is comment below. What bold move are you ready to make in your career, in your life, whether it's professional or personal? I want to say thank you so much for subscribing, and I hope that you can subscribe for more transformational conversations. I am the Millennial Coach, but just don't think that building your life is building just a career. Build a life you don't need to take a holiday from. I am the Millennial Coach. I will see you in the next video. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Hey everyone, this is Hill Street Soul. And you're tuned in to the core with the Millennial Coach, discussing topics on real life. Check it out. Everywhere you go, don't forget the ghetto. Listen to the core. Don't forget the ghetto. With the Millennial Coach. Don't forget the ghetto. 'Cause it's the best show.